Dear students, today we shall derive an important derivation, beam strength of a gear tooth or Lewis equation. Here we have considered the single teeth of a spur gear, and we are going to derive Lewis equation or beam strength. So here, as you can see, this is a single gear teeth, and here we are going to analyze the forces acting on a single gear teeth when it is transmitting the power, or when it is touching with the mating gear. So here you can see that there are three forces, Ft, Fn and Fr. So this is tangential force, this is normal force and radial force. These are the different types of forces acting on a gear teeth when it is under operation. So here we have drawn one dotted line, and this is a parabola, and we have drawn all the forces, and the point from the fixed end, it is called as H. So now we are analyzing this gear teeth by considering this as a beam fixed at 1 inch. So cantilever beam, as you can see here, this is a cantilever beam fixed at one end, and force is acting at the free end. So this is also, we are considering the cantilever beam fixed at this end, and the force is acting Ft. Ft is force acting at the free end. Here the normal force and radial force we can neglect, because that will be very small when compared to the tangential force. When the gears are under operation, Ft is the main force acting on the gear teeth, and we have to analyze Ft. As you can see from the figure, the width of the gear we have considered as T. This is the thickness, and this is the width of the gear we have considered as B. And here the T we have shown here. Ft is the force acting at the free end, and T is the thickness of the gear. H is the distance at which the force is acting from the fixed end. So before deriving the equation, we have to see some assumptions involved in Lewis bending equation. So this derivation is very important from examination point of view, and also before deriving we have to write assumptions also. That is why we are discussing. So assumptions is, the first assumption is the tooth assumed to be simple cantilever beam. So as I said, we have to consider the gear teeth to be a simple cantilever beam fixed at one end and free at another end. So this is fixed at one end and free at another end. Next, the tangential component of force is uniformly distributed across the face width. So tangential component, this is the force Ft, it is the tangential component. It is the component of force which is uniformly distributed across the face width. So the tangential force we have to consider as uniformly distributed. Next, the effect of radial component, which produces direct compressive stresses, is neglected. So the effect of radial component, Fr is the radial component, and the effect of radial component which produces direct compressive stresses. So it is inducing compressive stresses on the gear, and we are going to neglect this compressive stresses. Next is the maximum stress occurs when the entire load is at the tip of the tooth. So the maximum stress occurs when the entire load is at the tip of the tooth. So when the entire load is acting at the tip of the tooth, the maximum forces will be generated. Next assumption is the effect of stress concentration and manufacturing errors are neglected. So we have to neglect the effect of stress concentration factor and the manufacturing errors. So now we shall proceed. We'll start the derivation. So we have, by bending equation, m by I is equal to sigma by C is equal to E by R. So we have the basic bending equation, m by I equals sigma by C equals E by R. So we shall use this equation. We shall consider the first two components. M by I is equal to sigma by C. So rewriting this equation, I'll rewrite for the value sigma. Sigma is equal to m by I into c. We shall call this as equation 1. So here m is the bending moment and I is the moment of inertia. This is the stresses acting, and c be the it is the half of tooth thickness. So we shall write for m is equal to considering the figure, bending moment m is equal to force acting into the distance. So we have to consider here ft, it will be, this is the fixed end, so this is the free end, ft into h. ft into h. So this is a bending moment. Next, I is moment of inertia. So I is moment of inertia for the gate. It will be breadth into thickness, b t cube by 12. So moment of inertia will be b t cube by 12. Next, c is equal to, this is the half of thickness, so it will be t by 2. T is the thickness and c will be t by 2. Now we shall substitute the values for c, I and m in equation 1. So simplifying this equation, we can simplify this equation. So here there is 2, there is 12, 6. So we can write the 6 in the numerator, 6 ft. Here there is t and there is t cube, so we can cancel. Here it will be t square. So we'll rewrite this equation in terms of force ft. ft is equal to 6 t square sigma divided by, this is b, divided by 6h. So we shall call this as equation 2. So now we shall multiply and divide this equation by pitch, circular pitch P. So we are multiplying and dividing the equation by circular pitch P. Now we shall make some modifications in this equation. Ft is equal to, we can write this equation as Ft is equal to sigma b y p, where y is equal to t square divided by 6h p. So here I have replaced this equation by sigma b y p. So here there is already b, sigma and p. I have taken this outside and replaced by t square by 6hp, 6hp as y. So where so in this equation we'll replace t square divided by 6h. For p I'll replace pi m, because circular pitch p is equal to pi into module, so I'll replace p by pi m. So here y, this y is the Lewis form factor. This is the Lewis form factor, and the equation ft is equal to sigma b yp. This is Lewis equation. So this equation, it is present in data handbook. It is important for when we are going to solve the problems. So you can see from the data handbook page number 204, equation 12.5a. Here there is Lewis equation, ft is equal to sigma b yp. So this is the Lewis equation, and the Lewis form factor, here you can see y is equal to t square divided by 6 pi hm. So this is the Lewis form factor. So this is very important when we are going to solve the problems. So this derivation is very simple. So you can see the derivation is only this much and this much, but we need to write the assumptions and the sketches when they are asked in examination. This equation is very important from examination point of view. Thank you guys.